the banks, families, and hidden networks that built London's financial power. Every financial empire has names carved into its foundation, names whispered across centuries, names that appear in private letters, in old ledgers, and in the footnotes of major world events. In London, these names do not merely belong to bankers. They belong to dynasties, families whose power shaped the city long before skyscrapers rose above it, and whose influence can still be felt today. The City of London was not built by corporations or algorithms. It was built by people, a handful of individuals whose understanding of finance was decades, sometimes centuries, ahead of their time. They created networks that crossed borders, oceans, and political regimes. Networks that outlived kings, revolutions, and financial crises. Networks that still exist, even if they are no longer visible. The story begins in the late 17th and early 18th centuries, when London was transforming from a merchant city into a global financial hub. Trade was expanding, insurance markets were growing, capital was flowing, and London needed institutions capable of supporting this new, rapidly globalizing world. Into this moment stepped a wave of private banking families who saw opportunity where others saw disorder. Among the most influential was the Rothschild family. Emerging from Frankfurt, they built a banking network that spanned Europe, but London became their crown jewel. By the early 19th century, the Rothschilds were financing governments, underwriting wars, and stabilizing currencies. Their communication network, using couriers' codes and carrier pigeons, was faster than any government's. For decades, they had access to information before kings did. And in finance, information is power. The Barings family also shaped the world of international finance. Their institution, Barings Bank, became one of the most respected merchant banks on earth. For over 2 centuries, Barings financed trade routes, infrastructure, and entire nations. Their reach extended into Russia, South America, the United States, and across the British Empire. Diplomats joked that Barings was the 6th great European power. Another pillar of London's financial world came from the goldsmiths, a lineage stretching back to medieval trading guilds. Their mastery over gold, deposits, and early credit systems laid the groundwork for many of London's financial traditions. Over time, the goldsmiths evolved from craftsmen into private bankers trusted by the British aristocracy. The Hambros family, arriving from Denmark, built Hambros Bank, which played a central role in international investment and trade. Their influence stretched across Scandinavia, Eastern Europe, and into the emerging markets of the 20th century. Hambros became a bridge between old European finance and a new era of global capital. Yet these families' power did not come solely from their money. It came from their networks, through marriages, partnerships, alliances, and strategic relationships. They formed early multinational systems of influence that predated modern corporations. Their connections were their capital. As London entered the 20th century, a new financial class emerged. Merchant banks and private institutions, Kleinwort Benson, Schroders, Lazar, Coutts, and N.M. Rothschild & Sons, took center stage. Their influence came not from size, but from expertise, discretion, and access. These institutions advised monarchs, governments, industrialists, and emerging global powers. Their boardrooms were the sites of decisions that shaped world economies. Alongside these banks were the elite private clubs of London, places like the Reform Club, the Athenaeum, White's, and the Carlton Club. Behind their closed doors, political influence and financial ambition intersected. Membership meant access to conversations that shaped policy, industry, and sometimes international relations. Many of the city's most significant deals began not in offices, but in these quiet wood-panel rooms. As globalization spread, London's financial landscape evolved. Digital markets emerged. Hedge funds and private equity giants rose to prominence. Yet the essence of the city remained unchanged. Power still flowed through relationships, old and new, through families, institutions, and private networks. Today, many of the most influential financial dynasties in London are not centuries-old families, but modern ones, founders of hedge funds, investment empires, and global wealth management firms. They control billions, sometimes trillions, through structures designed for discretion. They sit on boards, influence policy, shape international markets, and direct a movement of global capital quietly and efficiently. What ties all of these groups together is a simple truth. The City of London is not just a financial district. It is an ecosystem of relationships, a web of influence built over centuries, a world where knowing the right person can matter more than having the right balance sheet, a world where power is inherited, exchanged, and preserved. When we walk through the modern city, past its towers of steel and glass, we are walking through layers of history. The names on the buildings may change, but the structure of influence remains the same. London's financial power has always been rooted not only in money, but in networks, in continuity, in connections that outlive empires. In the next episode of Cinematic London Finance Chronicles, we explore the global flows of money entering and leaving London every day, and reveal how the city became the ultimate crossroads for the world's capital. Subscribe and continue the journey into the unseen forces shaping our world.